Hello and welcome to the second edition of the 2023 series of Aspire to Inspire and Embrace the Power production. I'm your host, Dr. Jennifer Blalock, Chief Energy Officer of Ingenuity Solutions, and I'm so excited to welcome tonight's guest all the way from Plano, Texas. I almost said Plano, Texas. Plano, Texas, Dylan Rafaty. Dylan, it's so nice to have you. Before I let you say hello, I'm going to read your extremely impressive resume and bio. It's super cool, everybody. I want to share with you all the incredible things that Dylan is doing to aspire and inspire people, change, and his community. He is a navigator, influencer, and disability rights activist committed to serving all people with disabilities in the cross-disability community. Because of his family roots, Dylan continues to devote his love for cultural diversity in communities since birth and is deeply well connected across the globe due to his character, kindness, love for people, and passion. He is a transformational DEIA leader, social entrepreneur, author, startup executive, and nonprofit leader who works across multiple industry sectors in the United States and parts of the world to bridge and build alliances and collaborative partnerships. He serves on countless boards. Every time I see him on social media, he's doing something else incredible. And so I'm so glad to have him with us here today. He works as the donor relations manager for the Rec Foundation. And as I said, lives in Plano, Texas. He is a special education graduate of Plano ISD, earned his AA degree at Collin College, and holds a BS degree in industrial and organizational psychology from the University of Phoenix, and an MA degree in dispute resolution at Southern Methodist University, and all kinds of other wonderful and incredible things. Dylan, how are you? How's 2023 treating you so far?
It is great, and thank you for having me on your podcast. It has been a remarkable journey thus far. The holiday's been great, and in 2023, we're already skyrocketing in all the things that we're doing. Today, in fact, I've had a record of 12 meetings today alone, and I've attended 3 events and a board meeting. So it is a lot happening already. 2023 is busy, is growing, but I'm excited.
I love it. And I was going to say, that's just another day in Collin County, where I used to be a resident. I worked at Collin College and was able to be a part of all those movers and shakers. And that's when you and I first crossed paths, and I've continued to cheer you on and love the work that you're doing. Tell me, what inspires you to want to continue to make a difference, to build those relationships in your North Texas community?
Thank you. I think the challenge here is knowing your roots. Why did you start this in the first place? For me specifically, I am a person with disabilities, and one thing that I saw was an experience that I had was lacking employment and opportunities for not only myself, but for my peers. Knowing that experience, I kind of evolved into becoming more of an advocate and leading in the realm of politics, running for office previously, and now really advocating and mentoring other persons with disabilities to aspire to want to run for office. So it just all depends on your roots. Knowing why you got started, what was your mission then? Obviously, it can change as you grow and you pivot. You make plans for yourself and what you want to accomplish. I think for me, it started with my experience, noticing my peers struggling, and I wanted to do something about it and make a change, make a difference. You can call it in a lot of different ways, but for me specifically, it was about, how do I move the needle in a specific area, and then branch out and find other areas that there's those gaps that need to be filled, and how do we fill it? And so that comes with my passion, my drive, but also it's the people that I get to work with, just like you, every day.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things that impresses me is you are, look at this, I love it, on different shows and just sharing your story. You inspire others, but you keep learning. I mentioned your academic credentials and the different programs that you focus on. You never stop learning, researching. You have that passion for education. Tell me how that has helped keep you going and maybe even elevated your advocacy.
So, I'll just tell you, education for me was a challenge at first.
Sure.
Being a special education graduate, with uh, s- being deaf and hard of hearing and having those challenges through the educational system. I think for me, you know, when I saw entrepreneurship as a gateway, then I felt like maybe I need to do more with my life and not just have a high school diploma. I went on and finished my associates, and then I founded a program that allowed me to do the online version, which was great because, again, a lot of people say online is seems easy, but it's really not. It
No,
is so much more demanding. And I'll
yes.
just tell you, I went 12 months straight, 2 classes every 5 weeks. So it is very demanding. And I ran for office 1 year
Yeah.
while doing all of that. And I was still able to maintain a high GPA. And then I decided, why stop there? Let me find another program. And that's where SMU, Southern Methodist University, has their dispute resolution program, where I fell in love with it and so forth. And believe it or not, Dr. Blalock, I just submitted as of yesterday an application to for a doctorate of education in higher education at SMU. So I am wanting to get back to SMU, the same department that did the dispute resolution, but
Sure.
really focuses on the doctorate of education in higher education. So really committed to education, but I also really want to get involved in pursuing my education in the doctorate realm.
I am so excited for you. And if I can do anything to help you out with that pathway, cheer you on, I'm all about it. But I will share with you, you shared at the beginning of all of this that there have been some obstacles in lots of your journeys in your
Yeah.
pathway, whether it was education, as you shared, going on a special education, pathway, perhaps overcoming some of those challenges. And then you also talked about employment, right? Not
Yes.
finding those opportunities. And so, how have you been able to motivate yourself in spite of those challenges? Because a lot of times, most of us get discouraged, even just under normal, ordinary obstacles, and you've overcome extraordinary ones. What's your secret? What's that special sauce that says, you know what, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep moving forward?
It is all about your support system.
Sure.
And for me, my secret sauce is having a very devoted and determined family that is committed to supporting me and being successful, but also being my mentors throughout my journey. But also, I was able to seek out to people, whether you're an educator or an entrepreneur or even a millionaire. They all mentored me and helped me find new avenues where I could really grow and blossom. But also, they took me under their wings. So they really embraced me as a person and what I bring to the table and so forth. So I think that the secret sauce is about who is supporting you. And here's the thing. One thing that I also know is that not everybody is fortunate and blessed in my situation. Not
Sure.
everybody has a support system. And so one of the things that I try to do and give back in return is supporting those individuals with disabilities that do need that mentor, that needs somebody that has been through that ranks and has went through different hurdles along the way. They needed somebody like me who's helping them navigate that, but also making those connections who want to have that support system in place. So I think it's really about who is your support system, and it is so crucial for people, specifically in underserved communities and around disabilities, that need that support system in place. And one reason why I was recognized in 2020 as the fifth class of the National Disability Mentoring Hall of Fame. And so that is part of my goal, is to build mentorship and growth for people who need that at any stage of their journey.
Love that. And I think, Dylan, one area we both know that there is no shortage of networking events or opportunities in North Texas. I know when I lived in Collin County, it literally, I remember one day in particular, I started at 7 a.m. at a networking event and I ended my day at 9 p.m. So what you were sharing about the number of meetings, some people in the, in the disability community have limited transportation.
Yep.
You also mentioned, that support network, right? What are some innovative ways that they can still build and extend their network, build those relationships, find those mentors, those coaches, those people who are willing to pour into them from the comfort of their own home, online? What would you say to those individuals?
So it is part of the reason why I started the North Texas Disability Chamber.
Sure.
And it's all about community education and building opportunities for people with disabilities, but also the greater community. So we're partnering with stakeholders and so forth. In fact, today we just had a meeting with a large organization based in Dallas County called the Senior Source. And they are the senior resource provider for the Dallas County area. And they serve about currently over 25,000 people. And so as a chamber, we're focusing on partnerships and reaching those communities, making sure that disability is part of that mix and how they can be a part of that, but also encouraging our members of our community that want more information and ways that they can be a part of it, whether you're an advocate, whether you're a caregiver, a mother, a guardian, a professional, an executive leader, a millionaire, businesses, executives, anybody we're trying to do. I think the challenge is there's so many issues. As your population grows, the demand becomes more evident, but also there are areas that we don't necessarily invest in. And that's why I'm in the policy and advocacy realm, because, and also based on my background, I do a lot of organizational development, trying to encourage organizations and leaders to invest their dollars, put policies and procedures in place to empower specific communities, including people with disabilities. So again, we can address on this specific issue of transportation and find the inequities in those areas, but also it has to go both ways. It's not only connecting with the community, educating them, but also doing the policy realm and encouraging leaders to invest where their mouths are and really make sure that those dollars are being invested in those areas.
I absolutely love that. It's one of the things I admire about you so much. And you and I both have a commitment and a heart, not only for servant leadership, but for making a difference in our own communities. Tell me how you got started in being a part of local government, state government. I know you've done some things at the Capitol in Texas, because for a lot of people, it's like, I can write letters, I can send emails, but how can you really make a difference? How did you do it? And how would you encourage others to do it?
So I started out with curiosity, and that's part of my determination is I wanted to know more. If I don't know more, how am I going to make an impact? Also with networking, it's all about relationships. And in our community, we have two things in regards to relationship. Can we trust you and can we respect you? If you don't get those two or one of those, well, you have to get both of them. But if you don't have those two, you're not going to be successful. And so in 2015, I was appointed on the Governor's Committee on People with Disabilities, and then later became the vice chair. And I stepped away because it was 8 years of great service, but I needed new leadership, new people that's really involved and invested in the process. Now I'm working with on the board of Disability Rights Texas, and I'm also the founding board member for Mentor Texas, which is a mentor organization working with Boys and Girls of America to CASA to junior leagues and so forth, working with other organizations. And this is a very broad base. So I'm it's all about relationships. It's all about who you know, asking questions rather than introducing yourself all the time, asking questions, but also doing a call to action. So at the end of every meeting, saying, hey, we need to follow up here, and so forth. And I also do a 3-month follow up. So
Love
I
it.
provide updates and so forth. Also, another thing about relationship building, anytime I get an email, text, or message, I personally have to follow up within 5 minutes. And no matter how big or small, if I don't even have the information, I want to make sure that that individual has the opportunity that they're hearing me from directly. It's not some automated message. It's
Sure.
not some generic message. It's telling them I'm going to get to it. Or if I do have an answer, I provide it right there and then.
I love it. And you touched on something our guest on our first episode of 2023 also discussed, and it's something I'm very passionate about as well. It ties us all together. It's that sense of curiosity. Sometimes we come to the table, we think we have all the answers, but the best way to move forward is to listen, to ask questions, and to learn from one another so we can find that space that brings us together. And I love that you're doing that. That's so fantastic. What are some of your top priorities for 2023 to help advance the cause, build new pathways forward, and create new opportunities for individuals with disabilities?
So there are several opportunities. Last year we started the chamber and skyrocketed in that area. The chamber has grown so fast to the point where we're having large companies coming in and as well. This year is more about sustainability and really making sure that we're strengthening the quality of events that we're trying to bring to the table, but also we're strengthening partnerships. So my focus now is targeting new areas, branching out as much as possible. The second thing is really getting involved in supporting nonprofits in areas and finding ways that we can bridge the divide and help make the connection between other stakeholders that have a regional focus and bridge that connect to those communities. Another thing that I'm really focusing on, a lot of this is nonprofit stuff, but personally, I'm really tapping into being a consultant or advisor, a subject matter expert to other diversity, equity, inclusion firms, and really helping drive that disability discussion within organizations and encouraging companies not only having a DEI officer, but also having a disability inclusion officer within their departments, because DEI itself is so big, but having a dedicated stakeholder director or officer or VP could really help grow the efforts specifically in those specific communities. And lastly, one thing I'm also strengthening relationship is trying to get local news stations to adopt persons with disabilities as subject matter experts for any news coverage that they want to do. And so that is something that I'm brewing along the line. And lastly, but not least, I also want to encourage nonprofits for any of their events that they do to have a policy that enables accessibility, that includes live captioning, ASL interpreters, understanding event accessibility, letting people know, the space, the environment, sensory needs, all of those things. And that is, again, it's a lot, but it's something that I'm doing both on a consulting realm, also as an advisor, and also on a nonprofit realm.
I love it. And it sounds like a ton of things. And guess what, everybody? It is a ton of things. Dylan is doing incredible things. I've seen it for years. I think 2015 was when I first met you. That was 8 years ago. And just to have seen the different things you've done. And don't forget, you forgot to add one of your priorities, which is starting your doctoral program. Hopefully you'll start this fall or maybe next year. I know I will be cheering you on. I love all that you're doing. As we are kind of closing up, I wanted to focus on a couple of different things. If employers could do just one thing to try and open the door a little wider, what is something in 2023 that you could recommend to them to help them become a more inclusive and supportive working culture?
Okay, that's a big one. So the first thing is if you don't have a stakeholder, an external stakeholder group that are specifically advisors that can later become consultants. Specifically, now you can work with nonprofits and work with other chambers. Keep in mind, there's only 5 disability chambers across the United States.
Wow.
There's 4 in Texas, and there's 1 in the state of Colorado. And
Wow.
so, again, Texas does business. We try to do everything differently, but at the same time, partner with your organizations or partner with a disability individual that can formulate a committee, an external committee that would be essentially your board of advisors, and then eventually can be turned into paid consultants in areas that they might have an expertise in, and providing you the support in whatever you need to do as far as disability inclusion.
I love that. And how can people get in touch with you? I thought, and my answer, what I would have said is hire Dylan as a consultant. Find a consultant who knows, speaks from experience, has accomplished and achieved things. But you are a great resource even to connect people. So if maybe you could just share with everybody, what are some of the great ways to get in touch with you? I know we've been sharing your URLs, your websites, your social media. Definitely please connect. But what other recommendations would you have for everybody to get connected with you, to follow your great work, and to get maybe some resources or advice?
Yeah, so I would recommend people going to one of our sites, either dylanrafaty.com. You can submit a form, and I'll try to get that and respond to you from that. Or if you would like to learn about our nonprofit and what we're trying to do, and just so you know, while we focus on North Texas, I am all over the globe and all over US. And so I am well connected with other disability leaders, activists, as well as experts and other organizations that also serve the national and international community. So you can go through the NTXDC site and submit a form as well. So there's those sites as well, but I'm also involved heavily in LinkedIn and on Facebook. So if you really want to get my feedback, follow my progress and so forth, that's there. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, and as well as many other things as well.
Outstanding. And I could just share from experience that you have inspired me on all of those platforms. That's how I've been able to keep up with the incredible and multiple things that you're doing. I'm so inspired by you. As we close up today, share with us who inspires you.
Well, there's a lot of people I would like to name, but I'm going to have to give credit to my board members at NTXDC, which is short for North Texas Disability Chamber. Is a mighty group, mostly women, but is diverse. We have people with disabilities on our board. We have teachers, we have seniors. So we try to make up that diversity component, but each of them have expertise and have been the driving force in really encouraging me and getting and going and so forth. But as a role model perspective locally, and I know that nationally, everybody knows this person's name personally, it is Cint Marshall, the CEO, Black woman CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. And so she recently published a book called You've Been Chosen, and it's based on her experiences with AT&T and in other places. So she is somebody who I look up to and watch her successes and what they're doing with the Mavericks in far as diversity, equity, inclusion. It is remarkable under her leadership.
Outstanding. Well, I know you've written a book. You've got some other resources out there people can get. I'm definitely going to check out her book as well as your stuff. I will say also that Luca is doing incredible things for the Mavericks. I think I saw you at a game. You know, I love my basketball. So yes. You're keeping things exciting in North Texas with all the incredible work you're doing. You continue to inspire others. I want to thank you for being a guest on Aspire to Inspire, powered by Embrace the Power. You are really lighting the world, lighting the path with all of your dedicated service. And I just want to applaud you for all that you're doing. Can't wait to learn and see more that you continue to do so that I can help be a better advocate and contribute to opening that door as wide as possible, but also creating a space for all of us to be successful. Thank you so much for joining us today. Everybody, I'm Dr. Jennifer Blalock, Chief Energy Officer for Ingenuity Solutions. You've been watching Aspire to Inspire. We'll see you again soon. And please keep us posted of other individuals you know out in your community who are inspiring others and making a difference. Maybe that's you. I hope it is. Keep inspiring others. Have a great day, everyone.